Thank you so much for staying tuned with me tonight. That was Henry Yates with Enzo Bottling and Wine, which is actually not bottling, it's actually canning. So I got that corrected. Okay, now with me tonight is Brent Harris. Hi, Brent.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah,
So you're
good to be
the St. John version of Tim the Tool Man.
I'm up there. I've been called many things. Tim the Tool Man is one. The St. John Tool Shed was another. I said, no, I'm not a moving building.
No.
I'm a person and I have a name. But yep, that's me.
Now, you're fairly tall, so I don't think anybody should be calling you Tim the Tool Man.
He's a short
right?
guy,
Yeah. How tall are you?
6.5 feet tall, which it sounds better in metric because it's 2 meters.
2 meters.
Exactly,
there you go.
2 meters tall. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And you would know that because if you're going to the tool library, you can measure you out, right?
That's right. We got both. Yeah, that's right.
So tell us a little bit about the St. John Tool Library. I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea.
Yep.
A lot of times when people live uptown, they don't have places to store tools.
Yep.
I've always thought, geez, if I could just go to somewhere and just rent something
Yeah.
to use for the day or the weekend, tell us, is that what you're
Yeah,
doing?
well, exactly. I mean, essentially, it's like that. I always like to start with the why. Quite honestly, like I live in the south end of the city, which many people would know it's a pretty mixed bag of a neighborhood, right? There's some really amazing heritage quality architecture there,
Yeah.
really old buildings, like great stuff. The Queen Square Market's there, and that's doing great. But then, you walk around a corner and you're like, holy smokes, that's a boarded up home. Like that one looks like it was half burnt down. That one, I wouldn't want to know what's in there. It doesn't even look like it should be standing, right?
Right.
So it's a mixed bag of a neighborhood, and all of our cities sort of face that at some point in time. But a bunch of us were just getting together. We had a little group that met Thursday mornings, and we were all sort of saying like, what the heck can we do in this community? And so one day I was up on Princess Street. I was working for Catapult Construction. I was their project coordinator for a period of time. So this was a little interim position that I took with them while they were trying to get things going. And somebody asked me, can I borrow your sawhorses? And I've been asked for people to borrow a saw or something, but they said sawhorses.
Right.
So I said,
You're like,
sure, man, what do
really?
you need to do? He's like, you wouldn't believe this. I've got some tools, but I have no space, and I really just need to get some stuff out of my living room, because they were trying to cut out some shelves and build some shelves in their living room.
Oh, you're kidding.
So I left them with the sawhorses, and I was a little bit like, oh man, I wonder if I'll ever see them again.
Right.
So I kept working. I was up on Princess Street, and then sure enough, the gentleman came back 2 hours later, and from there, that's sort of I got a head going like, okay, here's a guy. He literally just brought them back. This neighborhood, you never know. Someone could have just walked away with them,
Right.
but he asked, and I did, and he did something with them, and that's sort of the idea. And I stumbled upon this idea of tool libraries.
Right.
And so that's sort of the why is we were looking around and seeing these homes. Not everybody can afford a carpenter, but people want to, capitalize some of the energy they see in the city. There's so many new developments happening. I left for 5 years and lived in Toronto. It's a whole new city since I came back a couple of years ago.
That's very refreshing to hear that.
And so, yeah, and I was like, okay, well, people want in on this. They want a nice home, and that does something to somebody when they see a nice home, and it does something to somebody when they see a rundown home.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize, like, when you're walking into a neighborhood, if you see a broken window,
Yes.
and there's a whole theory called the broken window theory, and it basically says if you see that broken window, the likelihood of more vandalism, of thievery, robbery, of even up to murder, all of those
Wow.
are measurable metrics that we see increase just with one broken window.
Wow.
That's decades of research. So it's like it does something to someone to see that. So what do we have as far as infrastructure in our city to take care of it? We can't wait around for the government to throw us a bunch of money.
No.
And we can't just all hire a carpenter.
No.
So this was sort of how the thing started. But
Excellent.
yeah.
So, Brent, if somebody was not quite capable of doing something, will you have somebody like to help somebody cut wood, or will you show them? Like, do you have courses, or do you have ladies with tools, or
Yeah,
do you have like
we do.
like I'm just putting that out there,
Yeah.
but that's because I'm asking. So
Sure.
I'll let you tell me.
Yeah. Well, you're an interior designer right here, so you've done some of this yourself. But we have a few different ways that we operate. So we are not a nonprofit, which some people are like, well, it sounds like a nonprofit. It's called a social enterprise, a bit of a new thing on this market, in the sense that we live like we operate like a business on paper.
Yeah.
We have a board and we live like a co-op almost. So
Okay.
it's strange. It's a bit of an experiment, I will say. We did hammer it out with folks at Enterprise St. John, like Henry was talking about earlier. So again, we're trying to innovate here. But we have a few ways that we can help people. One is their memberships. So for an annual membership starting at $90 for the year, which if you think about it, one impact is $90,
Right.
For a drill, it's $90. So for less than one tool, you're getting access to right now about 720 tools.
That's incredible.
Yeah, everything from a set of wrenches right up to a drywall lift.
Wow.
So everything, and then a lot of chainsaws are there, hedge trimmers, and wheelbarrows, like anything you might need for a half hour, but don't have room to store.
Okay.
So there's that part, and then we have a shop.
Yeah.
So then we've got some tinker types who they want to hammer out those shelves, or they want to use our cabinet saw or our planers and joiner to do some woodworking, and that's there for them. We have a couple different memberships for them.
Yeah.
We do classes, so we do one-on-one coaching stuff, and then we also offer group classes.
Okay.
Sort of experimenting there on what's going to work better. We had some lady members early on who said we want our own night just to come in with the girls and work, and then go out afterwards.
Do they
and,
drink wine during the
they
thing?
don't do it. We said, look, we'll get you a deal at the 5 and Dime on wine later, but don't drink while you use the cabinet saw, please.
Well, I'm sure Henry hasn't left the building
No, he
yet.
hasn't. He's still got some wine. So, yeah, that's another way. And then,
Okay.
so we're up to about 84 members at this point in time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, because I know it's still a new thing, right? So when did you open your doors again? What was the date?
June 16th.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got that many members already.
I know,
That's insane.
and we're right on track. Actually, I mean, we're actually shooting a little higher than we thought we'd be. We said, okay, in order for us to live, we need so many members, and we need so many classes, and we need so many things by certain times. And
Yeah.
in September, we needed 60,
Wow.
and by December, we're hoping for around 120. So hoping to double by December. Around the 250 is when we can start to breathe again. We can say, all right, we might actually
Yeah.
not go bankrupt doing this, right?
Right,
But I mean, when you think about the demographics in the old homes, especially, like somebody was telling me, in the St. John proper region, most of the housing stock, like we're talking like 65, 70%, is pre-1940. Wow. So there's no way around it. You're going to have to swing a hammer at that thing at some point in time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any delivery service, like if somebody needed a wheelbarrow and they couldn't get it to their home? Can you help people with that
Yeah.
situation if they're not too far away? I mean,
Exactly. I mean,
right.
I don't really want to haul stuff at Browns Flats,
No,
but
you might as well go buy one.
that's right at that point in time. But absolutely, in the uptown area, we haven't advertised that very much. We've
Right.
had one person ask about it, and I've got a truck. Actually, my board member, the chair of my board lets me use the truck most of the time. Happens to be my dad too, so that's a great connection to have.
That's awesome.
But then Alex, one of the other staff who joined us really early on, he has a truck. So we've done that before in the past. We
Yeah.
don't really charge for that, but
Yeah.
if we're
Yeah.
going to Browns Flats, we're probably going to charge somebody.
For sure. We're not going to accommodate every situation.
No, that's right.
No. So whereabouts are you? If you're walking down the street,
Yep.
tell me where you are.
Yeah, so we're by the old fire station on Union Street.
On Union Street. Okay.
So that's 160 Union Street. So when you're coming up Union Street from the Aquatic Center, which a lot of people are familiar with that landmark,
Yeah.
you'll eventually just get to that
you
corner.
pass the Loyalist House.
That's right, past the
right?
Lewis House, past the liquor store, and
Yep.
then right around that corner is us. And so, yeah, I mean, that street is interesting because even us landing there, we originally wanted to move in after Tim Kresman, who had Elwood's Wood Lab.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tim really early on, and he was super jazzed about the whole thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
Tim, you need to be one of my coaches and teachers, like in doing classes. And he said, I'd
Right.
love to. But it also sort of was working out for them to go back to BC.
Right.
Around the same time that we were starting up. So he gave us a great deal on a lot of his tools. I was trying to get right into his space.
Right.
That wasn't working for us, so we were like, what are we going to be? And we ended up on Union. But of course, the street has a mixed bag of a history, and it's been run down,
Yes.
but now it's starting to come back. There's a lot of development happening there. There's a few businesses that are opening up there besides us. The Holly and Ken Singh just bought the fire station. They've got plans for that. So
No, this is good.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of traction, like foot traffic going back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to be popping in and saying, what's going on? So you have
Absolutely.
to post your courses right in the front windows.
yeah, we haven't. You're right. We haven't done that yet. We keep it on a whiteboard, but that would be a good idea.
I'll come down and see you. We'll talk.
Yeah, that's right. Give me some pointers.
Well, this is really exciting. I am so pleased that the tool library is now here in existence and up and running successfully. So I'm just around the corner from you, so I'm going to have to pop in and see what's going on and maybe pick up on a couple of classes.
Yeah, that'd be
So to sign up for your classes, you would go to?
Yeah, so our websites right now, this is another interesting story. I know I got a lot of them, but we had an architect come from Taiwan who actually, he was in between his work visa. And so he was trying to, build furniture in his living room type, had some time that he was trying to work, and he just said, I want to build your whole website. So he
Wow.
actually equipped our whole website to be able to handle all the class traffic, all of our membership products and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's right on sjtl.ca. And then,
sjtl.ca.
like St. John Tool Library.
Yes. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Brent.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will definitely have you back eventually.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, Heather.
Build something. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. And the last person up will be Jim with Toastmasters, and we'll hear all about what's going on in the city.